When you start your own web design agency, most of the planning and preparation can go into actually getting the business off the ground. But what do you do once you've actually launched, especially in that first week of being self-employed? If you've come from being in a full-time job, then it can feel strange to suddenly be in charge of your own schedule and to not have anyone else to answer to, especially if you're starting out on your own. Hopefully, you'll have a few projects lined up to keep you busy, but even if you don't, there's still plenty you can do to get your agency off to the best possible start. In this video, I'm going to share 5 things you should do in your first week of business. Hi, thanks for joining. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rich Dean, a web designer and developer, former web agency owner, and author of the book series Start, Grow and Sell Your Web Design Agency. My goal is to help anyone looking to start, grow and sell an agency to save time, earn more money, avoid the common mistakes and pitfalls, and build a thriving and valuable business. Okay, so let's get into it, starting with Number 1, go networking. Okay, so I know that networking is not for everyone. Some people see it as being perhaps a bit old-fashioned, and I know that not everyone is comfortable talking to strangers or getting up in front of people. But here's the thing, personal relationships play a huge part when it comes to making a business successful, and networking is one of the best places to build those personal relationships. Yes, you can generate new business through marketing and SEO and advertising and social media, and you definitely should do all of that too, but networking can be one of the quickest and most direct ways of meeting people who either might need your services or know someone else who does. The most important thing to remember about networking is that it's full of other business owners just like you, people who probably feel a bit nervous and uncomfortable too, but they do it because they want to grow their businesses. This means that local networking events can be a great place to not only meet people who might need a new website for their business, but you'll also meet other like-minded people who can help and support you as you get your new business off the ground. Even if the idea of going to a local networking event fills you with dread, I strongly recommend that you just give it a try. The good news is that there's no shortage of local networking events, so a quick Google search will probably reveal a few in your area. Aim to visit at least one in your first week. It takes time to build those relationships, so the sooner you start, the sooner you'll start reaping the rewards. Number 2, make sure your software, systems and social channels are all set up. To run your business successfully, you're going to need to rely on an array of software and systems, as well as maintaining a strong presence on social media. So you want to make sure you have all these set up on your first week, if you haven't already. Now, I've already put together quite a detailed video on all the different software you'll need, so if you haven't watched that yet, you should definitely check that out. But let's do a quick recap on the basics. The first will be design and development software, which if you're going to be doing the design and development work is probably pretty obvious. Now, if you're coming from a design or development background, then I'm guessing you've probably already got this sorted, but now could also be a great time to try something new. So don't assume that the software you've been using for years is still the best option. You'll then need productivity software for those everyday tasks. So things like emails, spreadsheets, documents, etc. Maybe you'll use Microsoft Office or Google Workspace or Apple's suite of apps. It's entirely up to you, but you will need this. Then there's time tracking software. And again, I talk about this a lot in my second book, Grow. But it's really important that you track your time so that you can use that data to know how long tasks and projects take and how that aligns to what you're charging. If you don't get a handle on this, you could end up spending way too long on projects or not charging enough, wiping out any profits and meaning that you don't earn enough. Then there's accountancy software, so tools like Xero or QuickBooks, where you'll manage the finances of your agency and send things like quotes and invoices. Lastly, you'll want to make sure all your socials are up and running and that you actually start posting to them. Which socials you use will be largely driven by who your target clients are and where they spend their time. But if you're planning to target business owners or professionals within businesses, then the usual suspects are LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram, maybe TikTok, and maybe even a YouTube channel like this one. Again, if you can get these all set up in your first week, you'll be much more likely to get into the habit of using them, and this will put you in good stead moving forward. It also means you won't be scrabbling around trying to set these up when you actually need to use them. Number 3, get the word out. Okay, before we get into this one, I need to ask you a really big favour. We're a fairly new channel, so it would really help us if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and also share this content with anyone else you think could benefit from it. It takes a lot of time to make these videos, so this will really help YouTube to recognise our content, and it'll mean we can carry on making helpful videos just like this. Okay, thank you, and back into it. Okay, so I've already mentioned that personal relationships can be really important for getting your new business off the ground and making it a success. If you haven't already, then reaching out to people you already know can be a quick and easy win to boost those personal relationships. Remember, even though starting your agency will have been at the front of your mind for a while, it doesn't mean it would have been for other people, even if you already told them. Sometimes people need to be told something a few times before it actually sinks in. Plus, there can be a big difference between someone who is planning to do something versus someone who actually does it. So spend some time reaching out to people you know and let them know that you've now gone out on your own and have started your business properly. This could be former work colleagues, or people from school or college or university, or even more informal settings like social clubs, gyms, or fitness classes. Again, you never know who might need your services or who they may know who does. Number 4, work on your agency brand and website. Okay, so if you watched my previous video which covered preparing for launch, then you've maybe already got at least some of this done. But even if you haven't, then your first week in business is the perfect time to make a start on your new brand and your website, or carry on working on it if you already made a start. Now, the topic of how to actually brand your agency and create your website is pretty broad, and so too much for this video, though I have covered it in some of my other videos, so be sure to check out my channel if you need more inspiration. But it's important that you create a brand that is both unique to your business and also reflects you and your story. Creating a brand and agency website is also time consuming, so don't worry if you don't have it all done straight away. In fact, from experience, the chances of you getting it all done in the first week are pretty slim, as there will probably just be too much to do. But what's more important is that you just make a start. And actually, your brand and website will probably be something that grows and evolves over time. So instead of thinking about it like it's just something you need to get done, it's better to think of it as a continual process. Having that mindset means that instead, you can dedicate a set time each week to work on it, starting in your first week. It doesn't need to be too much time, and how and when are up to you. When I was first starting out, I used to enjoy downing tools on paid client work on a Friday and spending the last few hours of a Friday afternoon working on my brand and my website. I always found this a really nice way to end the week, though you might have different ideas. Number 5, prepare a list of target clients. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the more strategic aspects of running an agency. But if you want to start growing your client base, then it won't hurt to be more targeted in how you think about getting those clients. If you take a random or scattergun approach to new business, then you'll probably always be at the mercy of random events, which, to be fair, will always be the case to a certain extent. But if you can start to think about specific clients that you want to work with, then this will allow you to have more control over your new business. So the first place to start is by putting together a list of potential clients that you'd like to work with. Now, I'm sure there are probably some big name brands that spring to mind, and if you can get in with them, then great. But those are also the exact same big brands that dozens, if not hundreds, of other designers and agencies are trying to target. So don't be surprised if you find that approach doesn't yield much. Instead, there's a whole world of everyday businesses and charities out there who are probably crying out for a new website. You just need to know where to look. So let's break it down into a practical approach. First, think about your particular specialisms. Do you have experience in a certain sector, like sport or accountancy or agriculture? Next, what type of websites will you offer? Low cost or premium, content brochure sites or e-commerce ones? Next, what type of prices will your websites be? If they're low cost, then you may need to target smaller businesses or sole traders. Or if you're more premium, then you may be able to target larger businesses. Next, where will you operate? Yes, the internet means you can work with clients all over the world, but you'll probably find there are more than enough on your own doorstep to keep you busy. Plus, it's harder to build those long-term relationships when you only talk via Zoom. Once you know all this, it should give you a pretty big list of potential clients you can then look to approach. But how do you do that? Well, they probably won't all respond to your approaches, but start by reaching out to them. That's easier said than done though, so you'll need to do your research. Who will you need to speak to? How can you find their contact details? Are they on LinkedIn? Why do they need a new website? Why isn't their current website working for them? What can you offer that will improve this? Why should they buy a new website from you? What problem or challenge will you overcome? And how can you help them grow their business? Why should they choose you? You probably won't be the only web agency they've considered, so what makes you special? You'll need to do your homework for each one. If you just email them asking if they need a new website, don't be surprised if you don't get much of a response. But if you can create a compelling reason as to why their current website could be holding them back, and why investing in a new website with you can address their challenges and unlock new growth and opportunities, then this could help you at least get your foot in the door. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you've enjoyed it, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like more tips and insights for how to get your business off the ground, check out my book series, Start, Grow and Sell Your Web Design Agency, which you can buy from Amazon now, and I'll share a link in the description below. And if you want even more insights into how to actually start an agency, be sure to check out this video here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.